what's the latest on it. You would remember that 8 people were arrested on Monday in the Transcorp area of Abuja. They were arrested because they contravened the court order that restricted movements within those areas. Despite several warnings to them not to move into the restricted area, they charged headlong into the area. And like we warned 2 days before the protest in our statement, that anybody that contravened the order would be arrested and prosecuted. So like we warned, we actually got them arrested. And 5 others in around Ministry of Finance, also within the restricted area, bringing them to a total of 13. And they were arraigned the very next day. They didn't spend up to 24 hours in our custody. They were arraigned the very next day, and they've been remanded. Today, Sowore has been arrested by the Nigeria Police Force. And you would ask, why was he arrested? It is very simple. The 13 people that were arrested previously all gave their statements, and there is a constant in all of their statements. Every one of them mentioned that one Omoyele Sowore led them into the restricted area in contravention of the court order. So it will be most unfair to charge some people to court and leave the person that led them to commit that more like their leader, the lead protester who told them and took them into the restricted area. And that's why in the spirit of fair play and to ensure that justice is served, Omoyele Sowore was arrested today, and like the others too, he wouldn't spend time with us. He wouldn't spend up to 24 hours with us. Once we wrap up the charges, he's going to be prosecuted. In fact, if everything goes right, our plan is to ensure that he's prosecuted today. He goes to court today. That will be the latest on the Nnamdi Kanu protest.
Come back to Inside Sources. Today, I want to open the show with an update on what is happening to Mr. Omoyele Sowore, a renowned activist and presidential candidate in the last presidential election. Like we recall, earlier this week, he was arrested, I think first on Thursday, got a bail on Friday, and right in the court premises where his bail was being processed, the police arrested him again. To tell us what happened, I have with me a human rights activist and one of the lawyers that have been working on this case, Mr. Temitope Temokun, right here in the studio. Mr. Temokun.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Welcome back to Inside Sources.
Thank you, sir.
Because
Glad to be here.
Yeah, we have spoken with you, if you remember,
yes, I remember.
The Dele Farotimi case.
Yes, I remember.
So tell us, what do you think is happening to Sowore? You know, I know that he was arrested on Thursday, there was a bail, and then on Friday we saw all of those drama. Please give our viewers, you know, a review of what happened.
Yes, well, it's rather unfortunate that we still have to come back to really be divining what happened, whether we are still observing legality, you know, in the process of administration of justice in Nigeria, particularly as relating to Omoyele Sowore, because he has been a regular customer, you know, to the system. So at this point, the issue of all this brigandage that took place in courts, you know, on Friday was unnecessary. I thought we've passed this stage. On Thursday, there was a matter before Federal Court, precisely Justice Onwete Court, that is Court 8, and we were there for that matter. So when we stepped out of court, we were in front of the Federal Court when some officers approached us. You know, it was also more or less like an unruly scene, because immediately they came and they said, the CP wanted to see you. I was the one with him, and I still put the question to them, and look, what is happening? Are you here to arrest him, or you are just here to invite him? I think the officer was prepared for both. And when I saw that, and I really saw the impressions, I knew that the people were prepared for troubles. I said, well, let us go. They said, no, I cannot follow. I said, what do you mean? I have to follow him. So I entered the Hilux. He also entered. We now went.
That was on Thursday.
On Thursday. So we got to the office of the DCCID. He briefly talked to us and said that Sowore led the protest, freeing Nnamdi Kanu process, and that there was court order, and that that court order restricted protesters from protesting around some areas like Aso Rock and all that, and that Sowore led the protest. And that people have been arrested in connection with that protest. So there's no reason why Sowore too
Should not be
will not be
arrested.
arrested. I said, but is he under arrest? He said, no, that is an invitation. I said, it's fine. He now said we should go and see. They should take us to one officer who is the IPO, that is CSP Iliasu. So we went with that one to his office.
Was this at the police headquarters?
Yes, at the headquarters there. So that one I brought out a statement form that Mr. Omoyele Sowore'S should write a statement. So at that point, I look at the statement form. I said that this is suspect statement form. It's not witness, because if you said that somebody is invited, maybe probably you said you wanted him to clear some gray hair. That was the way they put it. So if you want him to write suspect statement, what is the allegation now? You know, they were not really ready to answer those questions. So we're just saying you should just write something. What are you saying?
Well, I gave him a suspect form.
Yes, what is the allegation against me that I need to write on? What is it? He now said that if you are not writing, can we record you? He said, you want to record me? How? Because if you are going to record me, this person beside you is holding a private phone. If police wants to use their recording facility to record me officially, fine. You know, forth and back, he now said, okay, let me go and consult. He went out, he came back.
That's the IPO.
Yes. CSP Iliasu, he said, okay, we are going to see the IG.
Oh.
I said, okay, that is fine. So we move out. But when we got downstairs too, they were also trying to use force to restrain me that, no, you can't go. I said, you said you wanted to go and see the IG. So, and you don't want his lawyer to join him to see the IG. What are we doing? Some people came, you know, they said, let his lawyer follow him now. So I followed them.
So those other people are also police officers.
CSP Iliasu will still let them. In fact, I sat at the front of that vehicle with him. It was inconvenient.
Also, you drove to to see the IG.
We didn't see any IG.
That was what they said.
That was what they said. So when we drove off from that place, as we were going, the next thing I saw was the front gate of IRT. That is Abatua police station. When we got there, I now look at him. I said, is the IG here? You said we're going to see the IG. He just laughed. He said that, I just talk to your client, you know, all this wala is too much, just talk to him.
This was the IPO saying?
Yes, and Sowore was visibly angry at the back. Now, what are you saying? Talk to me how? So, to cut a long story short, we now got to a place where they said, this is where my own journey went. That is the detention facility. So, they took him in, and I now went to see the commander in his office, the commander of that place. That is ACP Victor Godfrey. So we met him together with some of my colleagues too, who were with me. And he now said that his own is just to keep him in custody here. The matter in question here is not being investigated by him. And so for now, it is just the custody that is under his authority. So we left. We arranged for how he was going to be convenient, maybe food and all that. So we left. I called him in the evening. I told him that I was coming to see him. He said, it might not be necessary, that because he's not the IPO. I said I talked to those who brought him. And I said, are you not taking...
That's the commander, right?
Yeah, no, that is ACP Victor Godfrey.
Okay.
Who's in charge of Abatua.
Who said he's just
to
taking
keep custody. So the next, by 11 p.m., I got the information that I will be taken to court in the morning. So I was still confused about which court, whether federal court or whether Magistrate court Kuje. But later, early in the morning, they said Magistrate court Kuje. And we rushed down. We got there. The proceeding started. And the prosecution...
And when you got there, of course, you met Sowore there.
Yes, Sowore was there together with some of other people who have been arrested earlier. So the prosecution was trying to argue against bail. It was trying to argue some, and the magistrate was very fair.
Was that the police lawyer?
Yes, the police lawyer and the prosecutor. The magistrate was very fair. He said that this is a bailable offense. This is my court, and I don't intend to be influenced by anybody. I don't want to even give anybody any treatment. All of them, because when we're trying to make a case that people like Sowore, the presidential candidate, it should be released on personal recognition. And another Aloy Ejimako, that is a special counsel to Nnamdi Kanu.
Right.
You know, I don't know his age, but they say at least around 70 or so. And he's a very senior lawyer, he's a senior citizen. We're trying to make case for those ones. But the magistrate was still very firm. He said he's going to give the same treatment to all of them. That is fine. And he read his ruling. He gave bail to all of them. He gave the bill on the terms of 2 shorties,
Mhm.
and 500,000 in the like sum. And the meaning of that is that the shorties should be worth 500,000. Not that they should pay 500,000.
Mhm.
And that they should have tax clearance and the means of identification. Within less than 30 minutes, all these things were ready.
For all the
It was ready. So that was
and now this was now Friday morning.
Friday morning in Magistrate Court, Kuje. All of us were there. The lawyers, we were many. Lawyers came.
Right.
We were there. So that was under the tree. He sat down. We were around him with some other people. And other people that have their own different cases too. Magistrate was still sitting. The other cases were going on because our one was the first case.
So you guys were camping outside
in front of the court.
while the
Perfection of bail
was going inside.
Yes. Because at that point, the shorties have business.
Yes.
Once the shorties have submitted the documentation, the magistrate is the next authority
To sign.
just to sign. It happened around 11 a.m. CSP Ilyasu led other officers. They came. The truth of the matter is that there was preparation for what happened. Because in the morning, vehicle didn't pass that road. There was a blockade. There were 3 blockades. The first one at the first junction that led to court area with armor tanks and police officers. There was another one at the junction of the court.
So wait, Tokwe.
Yes, sir.
So you are telling us that the police authorities, they mounted that kind of heavy surveillance
It's so serious.
because of protest suspects
Yes.
who were not harmed.
Yes. It was embarrassing. Lawyers were
Who
checking.
were never harmed.
They didn't allow people to pass. You have to park your car and now check down.
So what about people who had businesses in that court?
People that had business were still impacted by the brutalization that happened yesterday. Because at the point, another 11 a.m., CSP Ilyasu, because he was on mufti, was wearing white attire. He now came with those officers. The officers inside the court premises at that point, they were saying like maybe 2025. But those outside, they spread. So he came to us. He now asked us to stand up.
That was why you guys were waiting.
Yes. He now asked us to stand up. I said, why? Where am I? What is standing up? And I said, stand up. Torres said, what are you saying? What are you talking about? I asked him, what is the matter? Where are you taking him? He said he has a remand order. Where is the order? He brought out a paper. He didn't open it.
Yes,
A folded paper.
that is the
CSP Ilyasu, yes.
Yes.
A folded paper. And can we glance through? When he said he was not going to show it to Sowore, people were even shouting, oh yeah, show it to his lawyer. Let me read it.
And you were there.
I was there. I was the one demanding. So he now said no. At that point, it was becoming argumentative. I don't know whether he gave order. They just swooped. And for you to know that it was premeditated, in Nigeria of today, there is no dramatic scene or sight anywhere that passes by. Out of 10, 5 want to use their phone. If for the purpose of catching fun.
That's normal, yeah.
So, but for you to know that it was premeditated, some of the officers were strategically stationed. So the few attempts made by people
To record
they brutalized those ones
in the court premises.
in the court premises. A lawyer came there, and that lawyer was also one of the persons making an attempt to record. That was brutalized and arrested. It was today we're still discussing how to get his identity. But the woman selling food there was a major victim. Her wares were scattered, the table destroyed, and
So
carrying Omoyele Sowore'S.
who is going to pay for the destruction of that woman's business?
The woman was not only bitter, she was crying yesterday.
Imagine.
Now, I was there, one of the lawyers trying to ask legal questions. I was affected. I sustained injury here yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Blood was gushing out and my bib was stained. So I didn't have all the energy they were displaying. These are people carrying guns.
So
The officer that carried already were more than 10.
Wow.
They carried
They came
him.
in suddenly.
Suddenly, and in the point of carrying him, he was not well positioned. He too was asking questions. I saw when one of his hands was already being dragged by another officer inside the car. The other person dragging his leg. I was so concerned about his hand. Now, is this officer really a human being? Was he determined to detach that hand, or he had an issue with that hand? So that was what happened. So when they were eventually able to bundle him into that vehicle, they drove away. And we started making awareness to ask questions. At that point, the magistrate was not even available again to even continue with the bail passing process. But what we have seen outside there was that yesterday, we were in court, we still waited till maybe for like 4 hours or to 5 hours. So at the point information came, police have made the release that it was not a rearrest, that they only went to remand him,
What does that mean?
And that is the question I ask. The procedure must be understood, is spread in the law. Police officers who are investigating a crime, they have powers to go before a magistrate court to request for a remand order. If they cannot complete the investigation within the constitutionally stipulated time.
Right.
That is under section 293 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. They can request for a remand order.
From a judge.
For a limited time, for a
magistrate.
just cause, yes. That one is a different thing entirely. But if they have submitted a suspect to the jurisdiction of the court,
Right.
at that point, they are the complainant. Commissioner of Police is the complainant. The prosecutor is also a police officer. So now, the court, in exercise of his judicial powers, granted bail. That is freedom, subject to condition. It is not remand. It is not a remand process.
So in that process. Wait, so that I can follow.
Okay, sir.
So in that process,
yes, sir.
Sowore and the rest, they were in the custody of the court.
They were in the custody of the court. If at the close of the day, they could not perfect their bail conditions, the court, the magistrate, will have to connect with the correctional service to come and take them away since they are not able to perfect their bail conditions.
That's the procedure.
That is the procedure. And the only custodial agent under Nigerian Correctional Service Act 2019 is the correctional service. The superintendent of wherever office the magistrate decides to take them.
So the position of the police to say that
they have no role to play.
It is not a new arrest.
It is not a role that police have to play under the law. If they mistakenly or intentionally or whether by arrangement get anything like order that is near to order, it is illegal. So there
was no order.
There is no order. There is no order.
But they brought
assuming the piece of paper in their hand is an order, that order will be an illegal one. They don't have the power to execute that order.
Do you guys find out, or do you know
there is no order
that magistrate
yes, sir,
that are giving him the bail?
Yes, sir.
Was he aware of what was going on?
Sir, let me just say this. What we have today, particularly in this case, is just a struggle between power and law. If it is a struggle between power and law, if power defeats law, there is no country again. So who is the custodian of the law? Is the court. We don't want to bring the magistrate in at this stage. Because if they are saying there is an order, we shall let police authorities to publicize that order. Let them publish it for the public to see.
Even in following...
If they now publish the order, sir, and we now see the hand of the magistrate there, we can shift attention a bit. But at this point, judiciary, being the custodian of law that can sustain the democracy, the executive, particularly through their police and other agencies, they are trying to take that powers away. Okay, we have to return the power to the court.
So let's get it very clear.
Whatever problem we have with the court will be treated later. But let us return the power to the court first.
So if they said that there is a remand and the police really has to come and clear itself in this matter, and I'm coming to a comment because I'm going to have to make a comment on this. But let's assume that the process is going on. The magistrate gave a bail, and the bail was being processed.
Yes.
In that condition, is it possible? It seems like a foolish question, but I must ask.
Yes.
Is it possible that the magistrate can still give a remand order when he had ordered for bail? Can he reverse himself?
Sir, legally, I use I use another term, but I love the word you use now, reverse. Reverse. There's a bail. If the police should go behind the defendants to try to process any remand order, that is an appeal against that bail order. It's an appeal against that bail order by the back door, because the bail order is an order.
Yeah.
They could not process any remand order after the bail has been, because the bail is freedom under conditions. So now, under Nigerian Correctional Service Act, Section 12, the custodial agent is the correctional service. If at the end of the day, the magistrate has convinced himself that the defendants are unable to perfect their bail, he can issue warrant for them to be taken to the correctional service center. Police have no business in court at that point. The only person that should be in court that yesterday should be the IPO. Yeah. And having read the charge, having arraigned them, his business has finished. Okay. He will only be invited when to give evidence again. But for them to lay siege on the court, taking powers away from the court is something we need to rise up against now. Because if we have problem with our courts, that is another matter entirely. But if police or the executive are taking powers away from our court, and the only thing we can do is to criticize the court, even when we have our reservation about few things. Okay, supposing there is an order truly, and we now discover that the order was signed by the magistrate, we could be talking of other factors. We could be talking about intimidation. We could be talking about doing interference with the process.
This is quite very curious. What is the condition of Sowore now? Where is he? You know, and you guys confirm?
Yes. By evening yesterday, when the
where did they take him to?
They took him to Kuje prison. And let me tell you very clearly.
Which is correctional
service. What happened yesterday was that.
So they didn't. So I guess they too were. They at least didn't take him back on their own cost.
Let me tell you something. What happened yesterday? Because I've read few releases from the police PRO.
Okay.
What happened yesterday was that what happened in that place was like an instantaneous reaction to an unfavorable situation. They didn't know where they were ever going to take him. But when they saw the outcry, in order to try to color, to masquerade the legality with some legitimacy, I think an afterthought came. Because when we got to correctional service, they said when they brought Sowore for, they rejected him. They said there was no proper documentation. In fact, even when we got to the entrance,
I was going to say that.
Yes, they said they rejected him. They said my client is on here, that he has been rejected. Somebody now said, I know they later brought him back for you to know that they were trying to patch it up.
So do we know whether they now eventually presented the proper processes to the correctional center?
It will still be illegal. But
you don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened. Okay. The detention, even as of today, it is still an unlawful detention. Why is it an unlawful detention? Has it been established that he was not able to perfect his bail yesterday? No. Now, another source from the police said that he insulted the IG. And that was what led to what happened.
Who said that?
Some of the releases I've seen. Either ways.
Is that official police release?
Either ways. I saw one that was posted on Twitter. In fact, as I was coming, somebody sent it to me. So, what if you say that was what led to what happened? It will still be illegal. If it's a rearrest, it will be legal. If it's a rearrest, based on whatever thing, whether you feel something is insultive, it is still illegal. If it is not an arrest, it is still illegal. It's an undue interference with judicial process. Okay. You have no business being in that premises. You have no business laying siege on the court because of a citizen who is a voice of dissent.
Okay. Last question, and thank you so much for explaining this thing to us in very good detail. What's the welfare of Sowore? Have you seen him?
I just came from Kuje prison now. That was why I was running late. What happened when I got there yesterday was that I went there with some people. People were not happy with the way we saw him yesterday. Apart from the fact that his spirit was still very high, he talked for more than 1 hour, talking to everybody. People were coming to greet him, joking. But his clothes were badly torn, damaged, and still dirty. He was wearing white.
That was yesterday.
That yesterday. It was badly torn, stained, and all that. And I was concerned about his hand. Right. I told him, he said they treated him and they gave him anti-tetanus injection because they almost pull out that hand.
So,
You know?
so how is it when you now saw him on Saturday?
Yes, it's looking better this morning. It's looking better. I said it's fine that they took him to hospital.
Does he have new clothes?
Yes. You know, he has access to clothes and all that. And
So
by Monday,
what's your plan for tomorrow?
yes, the legal process is what we know. We don't know the legal one that police are doing. The legal process is to ensure we get back to the magistrate on Monday for him to sign the bail documents. And after that is done, then he will come out. It's another thing whether they will come and lay siege at the front of question.
So what you guys are going to do basically is going to try to go back and complete that process of the bail.
Yes, for
and
the signing.
Get the judge to sign it.
To sign.
Why couldn't you do that on Friday? Was it because of all this chaos?
What happened in the court premises was not chaos.
Yeah.
It was war. It was war. There is no magistrate who should. How many officers guide the magistrate? Maybe just one. You now have to contend with gun carrying and angry looking 50 policemen who have destroyed a commoner's food table, who have arrested lawyers, who have damaged people's phone.
I'm sure that
nobody should be in that premises.
The magistrate himself is going to be quite taken by surprise.
Everybody,
you know, with what happened.
The truth of the matter, sir, is this, which I have said repeatedly.
Okay.
If Nigerians were able yesterday to see that scene, that site, the entire discussion today will be different. We'll be calling Inspector General of Police to answer questions. But they made sure every attempt to get that scene recorded was resisted and frustrated. That is what is still helping them. All of the videos outside that people have seen, and people are saying now, this is flawless, this is embarrassing. They are nothing compared to what really happened. If people are seeing where they were dragging Sowore, where they were carrying somebody holding his leg, and that was holding his neck, holding his hand, different person holding his leg. They planned to harm him. The plan was to dehumanize him, and they wanted to just make sure, like punishment, that no, this person is already in court. Anyway, from now, we don't have opportunity of beating him. Let's just quickly. That was what happened yesterday.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Temitope.
Thank you, sir.
Temokun.
Thank you, sir. Maybe I should just briefly say this, sir. This Inspector General of Police.
Please, go ahead.
This Inspector General of Police, whatever grievances he may have with Omoyele Sowore, if it is personal, he should let it be personal. If it is official, he should let it be official. If it is official, they should do it legally. They should not resort to this issue of trying to make power to override the law. And we call on the Attorney General of the Federation. They should rise to this occasion. So whatever was picked in front of the court, Federal High Court on Thursday, in front of the Magistrate Court premises on Friday, that gave him bail. This happened. There has not been an official statement from these quarters. People must rise to protect the law. If they take the law away from us, the democracy is living on a borrowed time.
Thank you.
The borrowed time.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's very sad.
And I must add also to the police authorities that this isn't looking very, very good. There's no way the Inspector General of Police, Dr. Kayode Egbetokun, there's no way you can be proud of what we are hearing. There's just no way. We have a president in this country, who has been abused over and over and over and over again. It's not delegating people to go after those that have personally abused him. He understands that he is in the position of authority. And so if you're in the position of authority, everybody's not going to like you. But Mr. Egbetokun, you cannot be proud. You absolutely cannot be proud of this kind of behavior that has been described by your officers. This is not the Nigeria that any one of us wants to pass on to our children.